pay hundreds every month for health insurance. Then they actually need it, and suddenly it's not covered.
My insurance actually denied my double mastectomy claim.
Today we're looking at people exposed to health insurance denials.
Let me tell you about the health insurance in the United States. Let's talk about how that goes. So I have a particular type of health insurance. I have Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, all right? And I have been going to my doctor's office with this health insurance with no problem. Recently, I had a cancerous cyst on my head, on my scalp. It was removed. And then after that, they said, well, let's do a PET scan to make sure that you're good. Make sure there's no cancer anywhere else in your body. I said, cool. Did the PET scan. Then they were like, oh, we see a new lymph node on your chest, so we should do an ultrasound and a biopsy. This was towards the end of the year. The ultrasound and the biopsy was scheduled in December. I was supposed to do the ultrasound and the biopsy together, but then the doctor wasn't available for the biopsy. I had the ultrasound, doctor wasn't available for the biopsy. Where was the doctor? The doctor was on vacation in France. Must be nice. So what does that mean now? Now my appointment that was supposed to be together, that's incredibly stress-inducing, now needs to be pushed to a later time. So they move it to January, biopsy. Fine, that's fine. I'll do it at a later time. Then they call me to confirm my appointment and tell me that actually this particular hospital is no longer working with your health insurance. So you are not going to be able to go to the doctor with this health insurance, or you're going to have to pay out of pocket. So I said, okay, what else can I do? Because I have countless other appointments under this same hospital conglomerate, right? So what am I to do if y'all all of a sudden at the top of the year are no longer accepting this health insurance? And they're like, oh, you could get a COC form filled out, which is a continuation of care form, and then tell the health insurance company that it's urgent so that you could get your biopsy and everything else that you need to do. I said, okay, great. So I call the health insurance and they say, oh, after being on hold for an hour, of course, and they say, oh, the doctor is actually supposed to submit it. I said, okay. So I call them back. I said, hey, the doctor is actually supposed to submit this COC form. They tell me, nope, that's not true. You're not there. You're, as a patient, are supposed to submit it, because how are we going to be able to submit all these COC forms for so many patients who are now uninsured? And I said, this is not the patient's issue. This is an issue with the hospital and health insurance. All the patient is trying to do is go to the flipping doctor to get the care that they need. And y'all are giving us the most runaround because of some sort of disagreement that y'all had and to no longer partner together. Now the onus, the labor is falling on the patient to get care, to fill out forms that y'all are not going to pay attention to with a 2-week wait time.
I ain't gonna lie, this stuff really dystopian, bruh. That's way too much to be doing if you're sick. It's like these providers really don't give a damn. That shit'll have you saying,
insurance is a scam. Insurance is a scam. Insurance is a scam. All insurance, specifically health insurance. I went for my 6-month postpartum visit yesterday. Seeing my doctor as usual, she gave me an exam. They had already called me the day before and was like, hey, Ms. Hopkins, we don't see any insurance on file. I was like, because I don't have any. So how much will it be to pay out of pocket? She told me it would be between $150 and $250. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just pay out of pocket. Went to my visit yesterday, seeing my doctor, business as usual, full exam. And y'all see that? $208.20. That's how much I paid. Blue Cross Blue Shield was taking like $1,000 out of my paycheck when I had commercial insurance. If you don't have any major health issues, drop your insurance. Just pay out of pocket. And I know people say, oh my gosh, what in case of an emergency? If there's an emergency, and there's a couple creators on here already talking about how they went to the hospital in case of an emergency, and because they didn't have insurance, the hospital worked with them on a payment plan that was much cheaper than having insurance. Do that. If you do not have a illness or anything detrimental going on in your health, get rid of your insurance. Save every dollar you can, especially in this economy.
Big facts, big facts, big facts. But bro, watch what they did to this young man.
Something really awesome is that you can go to the optometrist to get a pair of glasses with your medical insurance, and you can say, you know, I'd love a new contact prescription as well. And they can say, well, your insurance doesn't cover contacts. So you say, okay, how much does that cost? And they say, well, it'll be $70 out of pocket. You think, $70, that's not too much. Maybe I'll come back and do that. You sleep on it for a night. You go back a week later. You say, okay, I'll get the contacts. $70, right? They say, yeah. You say, $70, right? They say, yeah. You're like, all right, you get your contacts prescription. You walk out. You're good and great. 2 weeks later, you get a bill in the mail, $400. You think, well, that's not what you guys said. So you go back to the place. You say, hey, so remember when you said it was $70? Now I have a bill for $400. They say, well, that's crazy because you didn't even do an exam. And even if you did an exam, we don't charge $400 for the exam. So I say, make the bill make sense then. And she says, well, we'll look into it. Isn't that cool?
I think I was just verbally assaulted by a health insurance broker. I am used to having Anthem, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, like all the good stuff, because I've been a corporate girly since I moved to the US 6 years ago. From Canada, we have free healthcare. However, I no longer have a job, except for the one that I do for myself. So, and I get UTIs like every fucking month. And usually I go to urgent care and Dr. Michael takes care of me and my insurance takes care of him. That's no longer the case. So I did what a responsible adult does yesterday, and I went on Google to try to get health insurance. However, I didn't know in California there's something called open enrollment. Do you guys know about it? Because I don't fucking know shit. And I lost my job within open enrollment time. So there was no way of me getting into like a normal Anthem, Blue Shield, all the good, premium stuff. So I call a number that says they help you get health insurance. He's explaining to me and he's like, this is how much it's gonna cost a month. This is what we can do. This is what it looks like. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is good information to know. Thank you. And he's like, I'm gonna move you on to the application process and then you're gonna buy it. I was like, wait, I'm not sure if I'm ready. Do you mind sending me this info so I can read it and review? He's like, that's not how it works here. Like, we don't do that here. He's like, what were you planning on doing? Just calling me and then calling 30 other people? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're gonna go call 30 other people and see where you can get the best price. I was like, I'm not calling 30 anybody. Like, babe, I'm lazy as fuck. I'm not calling anyone, but like, who says that? Aren't you supposed to be like the salesman? It's like, we don't know what your situation is. Like, you can go and get sick after, and then you're gonna change your whole situation up on us, and we won't know. It's to be done on this call. Like, no, I honestly just don't know anything about this, and I was trying to get information. But honestly, I don't really appreciate your tone, sir. He's like, I'm really sorry if you don't appreciate my tone. It's just been a long day, but like, this is how it works. I need to get it done on this call. I was like, no, I'm not going to be doing it on this call. I just wanted information. Honestly, thank you for the information. He's like, well, what's the holdup? Only two holdups that can be possible. One, you don't trust me, or two, it's a monetary issue. So which one is it? Starting to sound like it's a monetary issue. That's what it's really sounding like. Excuse me? In my vintage Yves Saint Laurent that I got at a music festival when I was 22? What if it was a monetary issue? What if it was, which I'm sure a lot of people in this country are dealing with? I wanted to actually off myself during this call. I was so mad. This guy's saying it sounds like a monetary issue. You sound like a monetary issue, you fucking asshole. Sorry, I'm getting so mad. Anyways, I hung up on him because I was like, is this really happening? And I was fuming for a good 45 minutes, so much so that I got a migraine and passed out. It just made me sick to think that someone speaks like this on the phone to the vulnerable and the ill, the mentally ill. And some people like actually have not a lot of money and they're calling for help. You're supposed to be helping people and that's how you treat them. Anyways, this broker, he's on my list.
Insurance is genuinely such a scam. And what other service-based business would you be okay with them saying, no, you don't have to pay any money. Nope, you're all good, offering you more services, not telling you that they cost anything, and then hit you with a bill after. I just went to a primary care doctor after also, mind you, so much difficulty to get this appointment and to schedule it. It took me like so long. That's besides the point. They're like, no copay, you're good. I go to check out, no bill. I made sure I asked many times. They said, nope, no copay, no nothing, you're good to go. Let me know why a month later, I just get a $487 bill. Because it's not even about anything else to me besides it just being unfair. Like, there is so little clarity in communication. If I need to pay for things, fine, I need to pay for things. Everything has a fucking cost. But for me, it's about the frustration of lack of like transparency and communication where you don't know what you're paying for until after. And I don't even care if I had to pay for things. Like when they go to give you a shot and they're like, do you want this shot? And I'm like, not really, but like, I guess like my doctor's telling me I need this shot. Like, I guess I'll get it. And then what do you know? It's $150 for that shot. Why didn't you say, do you want this shot? It's not covered by your insurance, so it'll be another $150. That didn't happen to me, but like, there's the like way that they're able to just not tell you how much things cost and then after you get stuck with a bill. Like, how is there not like price transparency of you know what you're paying beforehand. Like it actually drives me insane because it's so unfair, it's so predatory. I'm not even communicating this right because I'm like so aggravated about it, but like
Nah, she crashing now, rightfully so though. Hey, listen to Unc. Unc got a story to tell. Buckle in and get your popcorn.
I just had an experience with my insurance company that I think is worth sharing. So, I had a neat thing. My doctor said, hey, you need physical therapy. Cool. I'm going to write you up a thing. And then, I got the permission from daddy and then went off to the physical therapy in network and set up some appointments. Cool. Not a problem. I've had physical therapy before with this insurer in network. So I go through the portal, fill out all the information, and I'm chatting with somebody at the provider's office, the physical therapist's office, who's going to be giving me my physical therapy. And I say, hey, how much is this going to cost? And they say, well, we don't know. Depends on your insurance and what your coverage is. And I say, right, but what do you charge? Well, you need to find out what your coverage is, and then you'll know. Like, no, I don't know what you charge. Can I talk to somebody in billing? No, you can't do that. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Why not? You're providing a service. I just want to know how much the service is. What for? What for? So I know how much what I'm going to get costs me before I commit to buying it. So the short story is, they wouldn't even let me speak to somebody in billing. But I needed physical therapy. So I started taking physical therapy sessions. Very nice provider, by the way. A month and a half passes. And then I get the bill. Almost $1,000. My individual sessions were costing me $250 an hour in network after all of the tabulation had been done. I send a letter and say, yeah, I don't like this. Then I heard back from the insurer. And they said, tough. So I called them on the phone. I'm having a problem with this because I needed to find out what my treatment was going to cost before I received it, and I was refused that information.
Yes, that's right. We can't provide them with any information in advance.
I'm sorry. They can't call you on the phone and ask after they have my insurance information how much I'm going to be charged?
No.
But Wait, seriously?
If they reach out to us by phone, we will not be able to tell them what you are going to have to pay.
That is ridiculous. I mean, that just seems like by default to be fraud.
That is our system, sir. That's what I can tell you.
And then here is the best part. Well, can you name any other product or service that you personally pay for where you don't know how much the cost will be until after you have taken delivery of the object, the product, or the service?
Just the medical insurance that I also have, sir.
So, Providence, you, the insurance company that has the big cross up in your logo and inside some of your hospitals and in some parts of your service centers because, you're really committed to this religious-based providing of help to the community. What the fuck are you doing? Now, I don't know if any of you are on Blue Cross or Aetna or Blue Shield or any of the other fucking bullshit insurance companies also have to deal with this. Sure love to hear about it. But fuck you! What kind of bullshit scam is this? I don't care. Like, if it's going to be $250 for a 1-hour physical therapy session that I have to pay, I'll budget for it. I'll figure out a way to make it work. But to not tell me until I've got $1,000 worth of bills? Eat my fucking cock, Providence. Jesus.
I have a horror story about Rutgers Snork endodontist, but this is not about that right now. Advocating for yourself is so important. So I just want to get up here and say this is also about insurance again, but this time it's dental insurance. I had a referral to get a root canal for teeth 4 and 5. I went to go get 4. I was not able to get 5 right back to back like I was supposed to because I had a horrific experience. Aside from that, this was like last April. So now, well, a year later, because I already got it, I put in a request. Well, the referral, whatever, they had to put in a request to my insurance. They said that my insurance denied it when I was already sitting in the chair and I went to go get it. And I called to make the appointment. They never clarified that my insurance denied it, whatever. I say advocating for yourself because I then called the insurance and I stated, well, why was this denied? And they was like, oh, because it doesn't seem like it's medically necessary. Mind you, it was approved 3 times already. But the first time when I went to the endo, that endo seemed like it was so dirty. Like, I didn't even let him put the plastic in my mouth because it was just like, ugh. It was an older guy, but it was just dirty. Secondly, it was somewhere, it was the place where I had the horrific experience and I got hurt. I was injured, and then they denied it actually this time. So after advocating for myself, they're like, oh, well, we understand, but it's denied. And I'm like, yeah, no, well, I'm appealing it. And they're like, oh, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I'm like, no, I'm aware that you can assist me with the appeal. So that lady hung up on me. I ended up having to call insurance back. Got a nicer lady. She assisted me with doing the appeal, and she put in it to be expedited for me. I informed the new endo that I was actually going to, and he sent some other paperwork just basically stating that it's medically necessary. So the point of this video was to say advocate for yourself. If you need something and your doctor sends in a request and your insurance denies it, call them and ask them why and appeal it, and then appeal it again if you have to. These insurance carriers are so lazy to the point that they will let you die. Literally, they will let you die. Like, granted, a root canal is not that serious, but I'm just saying that they're careless. I even just had an experience with something for my father. Because as you know, when you become adults, your parents become your children. And like, they will also try older people, I feel like, the most because they feel like they don't have anyone. But just advocate for yourself as much as you can.
Now that's true. You gotta speak up. But this next lady, she can't even speak up because health insurance won't even cover her procedure.
I am irritated because why? I just don't understand health insurance. How I have to have a surgery on my nose and I get a call today. I have a deductible of $6,000 and technically the insurance is supposed to meet or like kind of meet that deductible. My insurance is only paying $81.60, leaving me to pay out of pocket $5,918.60. What am I paying $500 for health insurance for a month? I just want to be able to breathe.
Do you guys want to hear how stupid fucking Kaiser is? Because if you do, buckle up. If you don't know who or what Kaiser is, it's Kaiser Permanente, and it's a health insurance company that's out here in the state of California. They're in different states as well, but I'm specifically talking about here in California. I should have known better because they pull shit like this all the fucking time. But like, okay, 2 years ago, my daughter turned 12 and I lost access to all of her shit online. I was like, why the fuck did I lose access? And they're like, oh, because she's a teen. And I'm like, a teen, she just turned 12. And they're like, no, that's a teen. I'm like, I'm pretty sure like 13 means a teen, but okay, sure, let's go with 12. So I'm on the phone with membership services. I'm like, listen, I need to gain access back to my daughter's account. How the fuck do I do that? She's like, well, you need your daughter's permission. And I'm like, she doesn't even pay for her health insurance. I pay for her health insurance. And she's like, no, I know. And trust me, I know I sound like a Karen here because like, I know that there are kids out there who may need birth control or don't want their parents to have access to their health information. Totally get that. Totally understand that. That's not the situation here. My daughter doesn't even know how to make her own appointments. I did not know how to make my own appointments for any medical thing until I was in my 20s. So how do you expect a 12-year-old to do that, right? Anyways, it was a whole fucking process. They had to go through and be like, oh, do you want to have your mom have access to this? And she's like, I don't really give a shit. Like, what? I don't even know how to do that stuff. So yeah, please allow her access to it. Anyways, that's just like kind of a backstory. Well, at that time, I was like, hey, quick question. My son, he is medically complex. He has the mental age of about an 18 to 12 month old. How do I just gain full access to his account now and I don't have to go through that again when he turns 12, right? And they're like, okay, we'll handle that. They didn't handle it. They didn't do it. So last week he had his physical and I was like, hey, like, are we all good? Do I need to do anything? They're like, oh no, you're in a leap year. They changed it to 13. And I'm like, oh, they changed changing it to actually being a teen. Shocking. And they're like, yeah, no worries about it. No, I lost access on Saturday. I didn't know that until today when I went to go order scripts for him and I was like, you don't have access to it. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I don't have access to his account? What are you talking about? And it says, you don't have the permission to use the service on behalf of your teen. State law gives teen additional privacy. Ask for more information at your teen's medical facility. Kaiser Permanente can provide hard copies of records as allowed by state law. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then it goes on to say that your family member has access to the service, but you don't. So what do? Ring, ring, member services. Hi. Why isn't this taken care of? I talked to you about this 2 years ago. You guys said that this was going to be the situation. What's going on? Oh, well, your doctor needs to put in something because we need to see that it's a medical necessity for you to have access. Let me get this straight really quickly. My son was born in your facility. You diagnosed him with chronic pancreatitis at 18 months in your facility. You then diagnosed him 2 years later with Sanfilippo syndrome in your facility. And you've seen how many fucking specialists we have to see on a fucking monthly basis. But you need it deemed medically necessary that my son has to give me permission to access his files when he can't even use, like, are you fucking insane? Like I said, I totally understand why this would be a necessity for like a teen or a person who doesn't want their parent to have access to their medical information. Maybe a girl's on birth control and like their parents aren't cool about it. Totally understand that shit. That's not the situation here. And I'm sitting here also like just pissed off because I'm like, you're making me go through fucking diagnosis all over again because you're not really treating these as a case-by-case thing, but you're just like, oh, 12, out of the system, figure it out. Like, where the hell is the parents' notice of all of this stuff? And maybe you're doing that to protect the kids too, but like, fucking make it make sense, Kaiser.
Yeah, man, this health insurance stuff, it's all scammy. In my opinion, bro, my health insurance is like making sure I don't get sick, making sure I'm healthy. Health insurance is eating watermelon. I know I'm black, that's a stereotype, but eating watermelon, eating grilled chicken. Well, I'm stereotyping myself like a motherfucker, but eating grilled chicken, eating watermelon, eating fruits and vegetables, making sure I'm very physical. I have a job where I do food service and trucking, which is basically we're delivering the food to these restaurants, to everything. So I work and sweat every day. I drink plenty of water, eat a lot of fruit. That's what you guys should do, no matter whether you're going to the gym and all that. Plus, I do go to the gym, so go to the gym, do all that. That is health insurance. That makes sure you don't get sick. Really, I don't got no health insurance. I turned that shit off. If I need something, I'm gonna pay for it, or I'm gonna just, hey, we'll go to the emergency room and do what we gotta do. But I save my money, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not paying for that. So if something happens, I have the money to pay for it because for the most part, I'm a pretty healthy guy, and I want it to stay that way. And I hope you guys are doing the same thing. You know, health insurance is for people that are sickly. But even then, and if you want to get deep, a lot of these things that the doctors do, they're just treating the symptom. They're treating the symptom. That's just like if you have a homeboy or something, or just a random guy on the street, and you're telling him, "Screw you, man, screw you, f you." Eventually, he's gonna come slap you. Now, you want this guy to stop slapping you, right? So you're gonna just like, I don't know, you're gonna just put a hat on, try to make yourself look different. He's still gonna be like, oh, that's the guy who said screw you. He's gonna come up again and slap you again. You're not fixing the real problem. The real problem will be, hey man, go apologize to that guy and stop saying screw you. He might be like, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop slapping you. But I basically said that to say health insurance is just treating the symptoms. You can't put a hat on and think the guy's not going to notice that you've been talking trash about him. You got to go apologize and stop talking trash about this guy. Stop talking trash. Then he'll stop slapping you. That's what medicine does. That's what modern health medicine does. But they just put a Band-Aid over the problem. And whatever the thing is, you got heartburn, you need to stop eating all that fast food, spicy chicken. Stop. The medicine industry is going to make you stop having the heartburn, but you're going to keep doing what's giving you. You need to just stop eating that spicy chicken, whatever is causing it, whatever. That's what it is, man. If y'all know anybody who's going through this nonsense, drop them down in the comments, man. My earphones don't want to stay on. Let me know, man. It's been Josh from Talk to Him, boy, and I just talked to you, boy.